Your WavyOcho, I'm gonna react to LA. Has lost its cool. You know.
We watching you rock. We watching game. Pass the torch to you. We watching all this love. It's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna mean this.
Talking to Kendrick Lamar, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if y'all watched my videos like back then, but I've said this mad times. Like I'm not really a Kendrick Lamar fan. You know, I only like one song of Kendrick Lamar, and that's Swimming Pool. And other than that, his songs is boring to me. His other songs is mad boring to me. So yeah.
You got the torch. You better run. You better run with it, cause it's yours.
When it comes to the West Coast, it's fair to say that they've had one of the biggest fall-offs since over a decade. In the years 2018 and 2020, not a single album from the West Coast managed to secure a spot on the list of the highest first-week sales. In fact, in 2019 and 2021, only Tyler the Creator saved LA from suffering the same mortifying fate. And in 2022, the returning Kendrick shattered the Billboard list to remind everyone of LA's greatest. But if we step back in time to around 2013, 14, and a lot of 2015, it seemed like LA was unstoppable. So much so that for a while, they nearly took over hip-hop in the same way that Death Row did back in the 90s.
I feel like it belongs to the West Coast, period. You got like Kendrick and them, the whole TD squad, Nipsey, you got like Dime, you got like DJ Mustard. I came out with a classic album that nobody expected. Kendrick came out, his went platinum. Dom Kennedy, he on this independent grind. West Coast, we got it.
Across gangster rappers, MCs, and producers, there was a fountain of talent to admire. But for a multitude of reasons, we're now back in a place where Cali is a shell of its former self. So what happened? Well, for a start, you have the shifting priorities of Kendrick Lamar, where he once seemed hell-bent on being king of the coast, one hand, I juggle them both. Back in the era where he initially arose to power, Kendrick...
Yeah, I remember that song when he said he was a king of New York and shit, which, what the fuck? You should be king of your own city, not king of New York. Like, now you're from New York, from LA, bro. You should have said you king of LA.
Has changed both personally and creatively. Where he once seemed destined to be number one, Kendrick has made an effort to basically let go of that mindset to pursue his own creative vision, rather than put on for the West. Basically, from the minute he released To Pimp a Butterfly, it was clear that he wasn't interested in coastal warfare, and instead, he made history as he racked up Grammys and Pulitzer Prizes. Sure, Mr. Morale did feature West Coast artists like PG Lang's own Tana Leone, Blast, and Baby Keem, but at this point, it's clear that his focus isn't to lead the West into greatness all on his own. And frankly, he couldn't do it on his own anyway. It takes a concerted effort to create that kind of momentum. And while at one point it seemed like TDE as a label were going to do just that with the Black Hippie Crew, TDE are now in the same position that Death Row were all those years ago, and proving that a label holding the culture in a vice grip isn't sustainable. Led by Top Dog, Musa, and Punch, TDE once had everyone fixated on their core team of Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul, and J-Rock. But now, Kendrick has left the label to form PG Lang. Ab-Soul's hype was whittled away to the point that his first album in 6 years didn't even chart, and Schoolboy Q and J-Rock haven't dropped a project in at least 5 years. Meanwhile, Reason, who was signed as the West Coast's next great hope, hasn't captivated fans, and even TDE are hanging him out to dry these days. Following a major dispute between himself and Musa during an episode of Back on Fig, none of the label's execs even showed up to the launch party for his new album, Porches.
I had a release party. Nobody showed up from the label. I took it as, you know, maybe it's just giving me space because they know how I am.
For people not to come to your album release party. Now, I understand what you're saying. You're not really looking at it like that, but that is saying something.
While someone like Reason hasn't been able to launch in any meaningful way and TDE's biggest stars have lost their momentum, Cali also had to deal with facing the loss of one of its brightest stars in Nipsey Hussle. An artist who grinded relentlessly while uplifting his community, Nip didn't always get the credit he deserved. Instead, he just kept working and found ways to organically fatten his pockets while building his buzz. Eventually, the industry woke up to him, but by that point, it was too late.
I think at that time, you know, I was just like, I'm gonna be myself. I'm gonna just be raw me, and if they gonna with it. But now I understand what makes money. I understand what the objective of this whole thing is. I was on a major label. I understand radio. I understand audience. I understand retail. So I look at it like I went to college. Rap is what I do. I'm good at it. When I focus on it, I can make incredible records. You know what I mean? It's just about getting my life to a point where I can really focus on it. I feel like I own everything now. I own my own company. I mean, I ain't done a publishing deal. I own my own studio.
Both a civic leader in his community and an incredible rapper who put the world on notice.
I ain't gonna lie, rest in peace Nipsey. It's sad that he lost his life in such a tragic way. You feel me? Like, it's sad that, I mean, he was trying to do good for people. You could tell that he was trying to be a good role model for like kids and, you know, and other people. You feel me? And yeah, bro. Like, as far as like music, he has good music. Don't get me wrong. He has some pretty good music. But like, I don't feel like he's a legend just because of, like, to me, like, just because an artist died don't mean he's a legend, bro. To me, I don't feel like Nipsey's a legend. He's a good artist. Don't get me wrong, but to me, he's not a legend, musically wise.
With his debut album, Victory Lap, Nipsey was just reaching that highest level of fame when his life was senselessly cut short. And in a lot of ways, it felt like that new wave for Cali died with him. After all, his peers in Cali weren't exactly firing on all cylinders to fill that gap he left. Sure, Dr. Dre could oversee a Super Bowl halftime show, but there wasn't a song on that set list made after 2015, and that came from K-Dot. Known for his perfectionist ways, Dre had faded into the background, and in all likelihood, Detox will never come out. I had between 20 and 40 songs on Detox, and I just couldn't feel it, he told Rolling Stone. Usually I can hear the sequence of an album as I'm going, but I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't feeling it in my gut, so I really thought I was done being an artist. Even though he's still releasing music, Snoop is more known as a gimmicky product placement for campaigns than he is for rapping these days. As a result, it's impossible that he'd ever truly be seen with any legitimacy, even if he is an all-time GOAT. Speaking of which, they may be legends, but the likes of Ice Cube, E40, and Too Short aged out of the heat of the battle. As a result, their collab album from 2022 barely made it to the top 200, while in the game's case, well, the less said the better. When he's not engaging in petty feuds, he's claiming to be the best in Cali.
Can't nobody in Countdown rap game. Kendrick do it. I love that to death. I flew past Kendrick when that was on foot in a Range Rover and showed him how to do it. Don't play with game name. Hardest in Compton, rapping, lyricist, me.
But
that's a fact. The game is, to me, like, game could out-rap Kendrick Lamar, in my opinion. I believe that shit, though. I listen to Game, though. I feel, I mean, to me, Game is a better rapper than Kendrick Lamar. Game's a better rapper than Kendrick. So, yeah.
Even after Nipsey had passed on, there was some brief hope in one of his disciples that he helped rise to fame.
My situation with Atlantic was already solidified due to Nipsey Hussle walking me and Kiefer in the building. He gave us that big brother love, that big brother hug, and never wanted nothing from us. All money in. I was really supposed to be all money in.
Praised since his Feed the Streets mixtapes days, Roddy had every tool to make it, albeit with a sound that resembled Atlanta more than it did his own region. After The Box exploded in his debut album, Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, along with it, he undeniably became the leading light of the coast. But even so, he had some issues about the lack of support he'd gotten from the city.
I had to take the torch. So I don't necessarily, how do I put it? I feel like a lot of the guys rock with me, but I never got like ordained as the one to have the torch. I ain't necessarily get it passed to me, so I don't feel no pressure.
Well, as we know today, his music has stagnated since that first album. And after several lackluster projects, he's basically returned to an underground artist. As for another immensely popular rapper who could have led the West Coast, Long Beach's Vince Staples was definitely charismatic enough and capable of making the music, but has some reservations about the industry, which means the machine will never get behind him.
The truth of the matter when it comes to hip-hop, in my opinion, is like we gotta stop pretending we care about these people, we care about these kids. This is a business. They want to use you and destroy you, get your money, and it's better for their business if you're dead. That's why they put out albums after you die. If they cared about you as an artist, they wouldn't do that. They would just give your parents the remainder of your contract. They would give you health insurance. They would give you life insurance. It's just, you get what I'm saying? We gotta realize why this is the thing, because it's money in it, and they're gonna keep selling it, and we're gonna keep perpetuating it, and then we gonna be hurt when somebody dies. And the album ready in 4 weeks once you die. You get the radio, then you get get the marketing budget.
And while his music is highly respected, his sales figures are only decreasing from 2017's Big Fish theory. In terms of artists that could lead Cali back to the top, it seems like many artists have hit a glass ceiling. Westside Boogie may be calling himself the king of LA and has no shortage of skill, but he's just not capturing the attention of the masses. Likewise, Mozzie can't reach that next stage. And as for Larry June, he's got a following due to his consistently great material, but he's never going to be a major star with his laid-back style. As for someone like Dom Kennedy, his buzz was nearly uncontainable at one point, but due to the fact that he never got that big break and stayed independent, his reach never expanded like it should have.
I haven't made no money in the music industry. I haven't really got no favors. I don't have no friends in the music industry. Nip was my brother. He had deals, but it was time he didn't. But, you know, that was like a person I respected and loved, but nobody really else.
Possessing no shortage of talent but lacking in opportunity, Snoop had this to say about the fall of LA.
I'm gonna tell you why we fell off. For one, LA radio don't support us. We got DJs out there that don't come from LA, that don't support our music, that don't give us love, don't give us a shot. They'll rather play Drake, Lil Wayne, whoever else is hot. No disrespect, they got hot records, but that. Them ain't from the West Coast. They should.
I ain't gonna lie, like, I understand where Snoop is coming from because, like, it happens in New York too, like, you know, like, you like New York radios, you hear mad Drake, mad Lil Wayne, and mad other artists in New York, like, and mad other artists from the South that was pop, that was lit, you feel me? So yeah, they don't play like New York artists, you know.
Be on the back burner. They should be getting played second. It's like when I come through New York, I expect to hear Jay-Z first, 50, Nas. Now, if I come out here and I'm hearing all this bouncing that ain't a New York sound, it makes me feel like New York has been taken captive as well. Now, when you go to the South, we playing South, South, South. We might slip one of you records in, but
Everything comes back around, whether it's fashion, music, or relevance of an area. So while Cali is lying dormant at the moment, all it takes is a few artists to bubble up, and suddenly we're having a very different conversation. But don't take our word for it. Just listen to Cube.
Kendrick is great, so yeah, I'm not worried about it. We got a lot of creative people out here that love hip-hop, not only down here, but in Northern California, too. I just know whoever comes is going to be creative. You're not going to make noise unless you're very creative, so you got to be.
With the trap music wave dying off and drill casting a dark shadow over the genre, there's always room for the West Coast to pop up with a unique sound of their own. And when they can, it'll certainly be beneficial for the health of hip-hop as a whole.
So yeah, that's the vid, bro. So yeah, bro, let me know what y'all think, bro. Like, comment down below what is your favorite artist from the West Coast, LA, bro. Let me know. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the vibe with WavyOcho checking out you are.